Let's move on to main topic number 2. Alou, what is our second main topic today?
Topic number 2 comes to us from Tyler, who says, "Hey, John and crew, now that Henry is officially back and is expected to do more, what are y'all's thoughts on Ben Affleck resurrecting his solo Batman movie with Joe Manganiello starring as Deathstroke possibly coming to fruition?"
All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, Tyler. Listen, there are a number of projects we can all point to as movie fans, TV fans, that kind of left us a little bit brokenhearted that they never came to fruition. Ben Affleck's Batman movie is one of those for me. It's controversial to say, but Ben Affleck is my favorite Batman, actually. So, and the idea, he is a, from childhood, diehard Batman fan. He actually built his own Batcave prior to becoming Batman. He is his films have won the Academy Award for Best Picture at the Oscars. The guy's one of the more celebrated directors. He's fantastic. And the idea of him doing a Batman movie in his style with a Joe Manganiello as Deathstroke is borderline orgasmic. I mean, the idea of this is incredible. I would love to see this happen. It ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. I mean, listen, I don't say that with any insider information. I just say that as a fan. So if it does come to pass, I mean, great. I will be the first one in line in the conga line if they announce that that's going to happen. I will come in here with streamers and party hats, and it'll be our aviation shot of the day. I will go nuts if they ever say it will, but it's not going to. The fact of the matter is this, is that I think we who appreciate Ben Affleck as Batman just need to be very, very grateful for the little shots we're about to get of him in Flash. Apparently Aquaman, he's going to be popping up in that quickly. But the reality is also, Ben Affleck is now 50. And by the time, let's say they wanted to do it, and they announced tomorrow that Ben's going to be back, the reality is you're probably looking at a 53-year-old Ben Affleck doing when the next Batman movie comes out. And listen, I think Michael Keaton can still be Batman, so I'm not going to hold that against him too hard. But no, there's too much baggage there. Like with Henry Cavill, it was a different thing. It's not the same scenario with Henry Cavill as it was with Ben Affleck. So while I would love it, and I will party if they say it's going to happen, but I don't believe the reports out there that that's happening. And there's some report going around that he's already signed a 3-picture deal. I don't buy that. And hey, if it comes to pass, great. But I don't buy it. I don't think it's going to happen. So that's my thoughts on that. Rob, what do you think? Now, Henry's back. We always kind of maybe hoped he would and thought there was a good chance he could be. But listen, with that being open there, could Ben be the next one to come back? Guys, we want to take a moment and thank a sponsor of today's video, Wondery, and their new podcast, the official Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power podcast. Guys, it's time to go deeper into the canals of Numenor, the mines of Khazad-dûm, and more with the official The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power podcast. Host Felicia Day and several special guests provide an inside look at the groundbreaking series and what it took to bring Middle-earth to life. Each episode of the official podcast features exclusive interviews with the series showrunners J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay, including the very first full breakdown of the incredible season finale. Felicia also goes behind the scenes with the cast and crew to bring you jaw-dropping stories and Easter eggs that you won't want to miss. So watch The Rings of Power on Prime Video and listen to all 8 episodes of the official The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power podcast for free on Amazon Music. Download the Amazon Music app now.
Yes.
Really?
Now I'm going to say this. I was I was having a conversation with David Miller, who's a friend of mine, Facebook friend of mine, and he was bringing up the fact that he's like, why do you think that Dwayne Johnson wanted to stop at Henry Cavill? And I was thinking, I'm like, well, Ben Affleck is going to be in what Dwayne Johnson is doing is extending the DCEU. That's, by bringing Henry Cavill back, the DCEU that was begun with Christopher Nolan and Zack Snyder with Man of Steel. I was thinking, why not, if you bring Henry Cavill back to do a Superman movie, why not bring Ben Affleck to do a Batman movie, which they already have a script for, so then they can make a world's finest movie?
Yeah, well, they did Batman versus Superman. That didn't work out so well.
But I think that they changed the tone. But I do think that there's possibility. If they do a Superman movie, they could do a Ben Affleck Batman movie.
Well, of course they could. But do you think they actually will?
I think, why not? Why not? There's no reason. I mean, you've got Michael Keaton's Batman and Ben Affleck's Batman both coming back. You've got Matt Reeves' Batman, which is more like the proto. It's like Batman begins again. So why not? as long as they make money.
I think there are a lot of reasons why not that we're not going into and not talking about with the history of everything like that. Plus, I mean, look,
I want to bleed, John. I want
So
to
do
Fox
I.
Mulder this.
Convince
You
me. I
love
want
Ben
you to.
Affleck's
Of
Batman.
course I do. I will go crazy if they say he's coming back.
I never thought Henry Cavill would come back. I never thought
Come on, we kinda
I never
did.
thought that Zack Snyder's Justice League would happen. But you know, when the evidence shows up, like when HBO Max started, that's when I started to believe.
Well, that's
I'm
when
like,
we said, yeah,
we
there's a
said,
place
okay,
for it
now
to
there's
go.
somebody that's going to pay for it. Right now, you got a guy like David Zaslav who wants to see the luster brought back to his properties. But maybe maybe Matt Reeves is Batman. Maybe, I don't know. What do you think over there, Matt? Is your Batman enough? I don't know.
My Batman's more than enough.
Okay, that's all we needed to know.
Also,
but I'm also open to other iterations.
I also
And
don't think
apparently
The
I'm
Rock
David
has nearly
Gonzalez.
as much pull as people think he does,
Probably not.
especially with Black Adam opening to 67 million. So I don't know about that, but I will burn a candle tonight, hoping that you were
Second
right.
weekend. We'll see.
So, Christian, I mean, so we got two people here would like to see it happen. One doesn't think it will. One thinks it will. Where are you falling this?
I think it could.
Okay, it could.
So I'm split, and meaning that I do think that he's gonna. I think the 3-picture deal, if it is indeed true, doesn't necessarily mean, and honestly, nor should it, that it's just going to be a standalone movie of him. I mean, it could be 3 pictures that he's going to be appearing in, and that he has a bigger role in, and that he helps out, whether it's stuff with Henry Cavill, and there's other things that he does with Momoa, and continuing on to continue that universe, because there are two separate things going on. There's Joaquin Phoenix and the Joker. There's Matt Reeves and the Batman. I think it's too confusing. And I said this years ago when we talked about The Flash, when The Flash was on CW and doing the show, and then they announced Ezra Miller and The Flash. I'm like, why not just put that kid from the show?
Grant Gustin.
Yeah, and I said, put him in there. It's less confusing to people over what's going on. And it's like, yes, you can separate, and you can do that. But I think by putting out a Ben Affleck the Batman, to us, we all know what's going on. The casual viewer, wait, who's the real Batman then? What's happening here? You know, I don't know why.
Turn into Mario.
What's that?
You turn into Mario.
Mario. I don't know what's going on. Who's the Batman? Is it that guy? I don't know anymore. But either way, I think that you got to focus on, if you're going to go all in on Matt Reeves and Pattinson, go all in on that. But it doesn't mean you can't bring Affleck back. You can bring him back and have him. The other question, though, by the way, is because from what I'm hearing about The Flash, is that Michael Keaton has a really massive role, and that he's going to be doing more as Batman. So,
I mean, we knew one of the things that was going to be more was going to be Batgirl. But that,
well, yeah, he
that's
was.
gone.
But apparently, even in The Flash, is that he's got a lot to do in that movie. But
Well, I can't remember. Were you at? I can't remember if you were at CinemaCon. Were you at CinemaCon?
I was not.
So when they showed us this big preview of it at CinemaCon, like I think the first face we saw was Michael Keaton. Right.
he's in the trailers. Voiceover is all over the damn.
I still think by the time Flash comes out, the movie's called Batman Flashpoint.
Well, either way,
still do.
But I do think that Affleck, I don't think he's done as Batman, obviously, as we know with Aquaman and everything, but I think that it'll continue on. I think that you're right with Dwayne Johnson wanting him back, I mean, too, but I don't think business-wise it's now ever. Maybe they do a movie with him, but it doesn't matter how old he is, because look, they were going to do Clint Eastwood years ago, right? Even when he was, what's he now, 107, when he was like 80. So I think he's going to come back. I do, but I just don't think it's a standalone.
I think the man's re-energized. He's married to J-Lo. You know, he's got his mojo back. He's clean. He's in good shape. Look at it.
So why would he want to go
Let's have
back?
a
Right.
back,
There's a
but-
thing that drove him
That's
nuts.
everything you just said. I completely agree with.
I'll tell you-
But to me, that makes it is even more convincing that he wouldn't come back to it.
I think they had a great script. I do. I think whatever that, and I haven't read it, I think that Batman Deathstroke script is the perfect script for him to come back and do and direct. And I think of all the places he's directed 4 movies for Warner Brothers, one Best Picture, 2 are very respectable, and 1, while it didn't do as well, is still a very handsome movie. I think David Zaslav looks at him and goes, that guy directed a Best Picture? What other director that's working for us right now directed a Best Picture? Why isn't he making another
I
movie?
agree. I just remember that when Matt Damon talked about the conversation he had with Ben Affleck and said, doing Batman is killing.
Yeah.
You got to
Right.
get away from it. And I just don't know if he
Well, I
goes-
think part of the reason it was
Well, you know what?
killing him.
We actually need to move on.
Yeah,
We've been way too long in this. So I will ask you guys, what do you think about that? Do you think now that Henry Cavill is back, it's a very different situation, but could the door be open for Ben Affleck to come back? Maybe yes, maybe no. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.